Can y'all hear me? I'm sorry. I have my biggest hater. Hmm? I turned it off, Seam. I told you that I needed this room to be quiet. That's why I said you can go in my room and you can watch TV if you want to. Okay. Well, I don't know. Thank you, Jason. Jason, am I saying that right? I got my biggest haters with me right now. Say hey, pickle. So I was trying to do like a real show today, and I like had like some links and stuff that I had on my Twitter that I wanted to share, but unfortunately, I can't log into my Twitter on my computer, and I'm trying to figure out why. I changed my password like 3 times. He's telling me that I have an error, so. But I really wanted to talk about Jordan Neely because yeah, Seam is back here almost naked because I had him in his clothes and he took them off because he got mad because we're not going to the playground right now. So I wanted to talk about Jordan Neely. I'm very like heartbroken about this. That's so gross. That's so gross. Hey. Stop wet. Like that table mush. What's up, yikes? But yeah, I just wanted to talk about Jordan Neely today because I don't know. I feel like more affected by his death than I have the other deaths in the past, and I don't know why. I think it might be because he was he wasn't doing nothing but minding his business. Yes, he was outraged. I mean, are we pretending like black people don't have like a reason to be outraged? He's hungry. He's tired. He probably hasn't had anywhere to sleep. He probably ain't had a shower. And he's just voicing his concerns. It's like we're now in this like dystopian reality where we can't even like say anything is bothering us. Like we really have to just shut up and take whatever is happening. And I don't think that's right. I don't know what Black Star News is, but for the first in the first sentence for them to be naming Reverend Al Sharpton in the National Action Network, no Nan is like I don't like it. But this is the first link that I saw with a picture of Jordan Neely, and I feel like we got to keep sharing his face because like they're gonna keep trying to demonize him in the media and make it seem like he was just this terrible person talking about his arrest record saying he punched a 67-year-old woman in the face. I mean, I don't know if any of this is even true. Like people are just saying things about him and it's heartbreaking. I feel so bad for him. I feel so bad for his family who's surviving. I mean, I read an article yesterday that said that his mother was killed and her body was found in like a suitcase and he had to like testify at the trial for her murder. Like it's like he's just lived this traumatic life and it seemed like he found joy in doing something, and for his life to just be snuffed out like that, like on the train by some wannabe vigilantes, it's just heartbreaking and I can't believe it. I mean, I can believe it, but I don't want to. It's so unbelievable. Why are we? This whole article is about the National Action Network. They must be. It says there's a GoFundMe. The National Action Network. I wouldn't be surprised if they were the ones behind the GoFundMe. Them and our favorite Cadillac Queen, Tamika Mallory, or should we call her Scamika Mallory? But yeah, this is heartbreaking, and I really wish Al Sharpton would stay out of things because he just makes everything worse, like exponentially, like worse. See if we can find another article. I do not care about this publicity stunt that Al Sharpton is trying to pull. Asim, what's up? They're both just standing in the kitchen waiting for me to, I don't know. What? You want me to put that back on you? Okay. I have to put his Spider Man suit back on him because he took it off. Come on. Let's go. Like I said yesterday, whenever they see me about to do something, they feel like they got to start demanding things. Hmm. What you like? Hmm. Don't take it off of me. You happy? Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry, y'all. But Amir, when he gets home, we're gonna go to the playground as a family. And when he came home earlier, he told them that we were going, which was a big mistake. I hate when he does that because you're gonna get them all excited, like we're gonna leave the house, and then when you leave by yourself, I have to deal with the fallout. And it happens all the time. I just like really like I can't. Asim has to be the last person dressed when we're leaving the house because if he's not the last person dressed, he's throwing tantrums until we're in the car. But let me see if we have another article about. Oh, this is one thing that I've definitely found interesting: the outrage in New York after killing of Jordan Neely in New York City subway. Um, I'm not going to show the video of what happened. I'm not doing any of that because I'm not with the snuff films being, repeated over and over again and, everybody being re traumatized. Like, I know that's why white people like it. Like, they love seeing these, like, snuff films and they love watching CNN play it over and over again and they love resharing the pictures and stuff, but we're not doing that over here. But I was happy to see that the people of New York, they're like actually protesting and they want the people that did this arrested because they should be arrested. Uh-oh. No ads. Um, Another thing that I also find very interesting is that we don't know the names and the faces of the people who did this. Well, we see the faces, but we don't know the names. They're spreading all this information about this man who was killed, but they're keeping everybody else's names um, under wraps. Yes. Yes. No. Mm. So they said this 24-year-old subduer, a U.S. Marine veteran, which is very interesting because you're 24 years old. How are you a veteran already? Hmm? What happened? What happened? Is that a dishonorable discharge? That's what I think. That's what I think. But I also think that, some people don't think about these people that have been in the military and how they could be, used as assets in the future, even after they are out of the military. That's something that I believe. I mean, we've all seen Manchurian Candidate. We know how, the military gets down. We all know this story. We've been talking about it for the past 24 hours. So I'm not gonna harp on it. I'm really affected by Jordan Neely's death, and I just hope there's justice. I hope that his family or his surviving family, um, they're able to get some peace. But I really want to see his GoFundMe. Another thing that I also found interesting is that the media is trying to make it seem like he was killed because he was homeless or he was killed because he was having a mental health crisis. But we all know the truth. If it was a white man, nobody would have said nothing. They would have just let him, yell to himself, and then they would have got off on the next stop and it wouldn't have been nothing, right? But, him being a black man is definitely a reason for his death. I feel for his murder. I feel like the people that killed him or who are responsible for his murder, they saw him as a soft target and they probably really just wanted to kill somebody that day. I mean, we underestimate the depravity and the cruelty of certain people. We definitely underestimate it. But yeah, this man he experienced so much trauma. It's heartbreaking. His mother was murdered by Sean Sutherland, then 50, who stuffed her dead body in a suitcase and threw it on the shoulder of the Henry Hudson Parkway. He had to, grieve the death of his mother. His aunt is his closest living relative. I'm hoping that she's the one who started the GoFundMe for him because, like, you don't want. Carolyn Neely says she has started the GoFundMe, which is good. I don't know. I just feel like, ma'am. I just feel like we don't need Al Sharpton and his No Nan network anywhere near. It's so sad. So sad. Anyways, I'm the only one up in here. Anybody got? No one has anything to say? If not, I'll end the stream. I'll end the stream early because if no one's gonna be in here, I don't want to be talking to myself. I do that enough on Twitter. What you gotta say? And I know she wants to be breastfed. That's why she keeps getting all up in my lap, trying to pull at my shirt. What's up? Hmm? Nah. Yeah, nah. Mm. 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 Oh. Okay. Jason. Do you have anything like to share? Anything you want to say? Like I've said this a lot, and I think like the good thing about me not having like a big channel or anything right now is I can really say whatever I want to say, and nobody's gonna strike my channel or anything. But like I feel like Black folks got to get prepared Jason, I mean, I don't know if you, well, I'm sure you follow me on Twitter. Um, Tweet me so I can follow you back if I'm not following you back. But I am a gun owner. I train, I carry. It's a lifestyle for me. And I mean, me and my husband, we get down. And I feel like, I mean, he's trained in martial arts. I'm not trained in martial arts or anything, but I work out every day. I'm not in like the shape that I'm used to because I had two children, but I'm a very athletic person. If it goes down, I'm ready to run. I'm ready to do what I have to do. You know what I mean? And I feel like Black folks, we got to start training. We got to start, practicing situational awareness. We got to be very vigilant because, you know, you never know. I mean, I live in Atlanta. It's segregated. Black folks don't really, vibe with the white folks. But I mean, who's to say that, some, race soldier won't try to, target me while I'm out with my kids by myself and I'm out with my husband. The whole situation is senseless. But even if he was having a mental health crisis, there's no expectation that the cops would have handled it. Any, you're correct. You're correct. You're correct. But at the end of the day, I feel like that's what the police's job is. Unfortunately, you know what I mean. Like they're the ones that are supposed to be the first people to respond to those types of situations. They're the first responder. The people on the train shouldn't have taken it up, you know, they shouldn't have taken it that far. Um, I lived in New York for a month before, and I was on the train pretty much every single day, and I saw a lot of craziness. I saw, we anybody that's ever been. I mean, I used to ride the MARTA all the time when I was, working in the corporate arena. When I lived in New York, I rode, the their metro. I think what is it called, Metro? Yeah. I know it's called the Metro in DC. Wherever I ride public transportation anywhere I go, and I've seen, you see people having these mental health crises, and you just mind your business, walk off if they're not hurting anybody or harming anybody. I've never seen anybody getting beat up by a homeless person, at this on the subway or on public transportation. So I just find it very, appalling that these people would take it upon themselves to harm this man or restrain this man. Everybody else that was on the train, all the other accounts that I've read, people have said that he wasn't being violent or anything. He was just voicing concerns. Why aren't we allowed? Yeah, it's just like, but the problem with the George Floyd situation is so many people stood around with their cameras out, saying things, but nobody trying to bring up his past and focus on the negativity. Yes, but I feel like I said yesterday, I feel like we're on a loop. Like they keep trying to bring us back and bring us back and re-traumatize us. And they're doing this because they don't want us to react. They don't want us to come up and, become, that one big Negro that they claim us to be and react to what they're doing to us. They just want us to lay down and continue to take it. And I worked for years in mental health, and there are a ton of ways to de-escalate a situation. Physical restraint isn't always the last resort, and even then, chokeholds aren't used. Like he used like some training that he learned in the military. Let me take this off because he obviously used like some military training on Jordan Neely. And if you were going to restrain someone, you wouldn't put them in a chokehold like that for 15 minutes. And then people just watched and watched. Like in the George Floyd situation, like I can see why people that were watching probably wouldn't get involved. And only because the reason why I feel like they wouldn't get involved is because maybe they were afraid that they would be retaliated by the cops. You know what I mean? Maybe they thought that they would be the next person with a knee on their neck. I can see that. But these were civilians. Like nobody stepped in and said, "Hey, maybe you shouldn't, you know, put this man in a chokehold." Like I don't I don't get it. I don't get it. I feel like it was cruel. It was unnecessary. And it shouldn't have escalated into this man's murder. And I feel like we're going to see a lot more of that. Like the way that this economy is going, people aren't able to sustain their livelihoods. Yep, the killer was desensitized to killing brown people from his military experience and was looking for a soft target, like you said. It was just the icing on the cake. His target was black. Exactly. Exactly. And and we've read stories all the time about people walking around looking for a soft target. Even Liam Neeson said, didn't Liam Neeson say that his friend got killed by a black person, so he walked around looking for a black person to kill? They do this all the time because they think that black people won't be missed, or they think that black people deserve to die. And the fact that the media is trying to put emphasis on the fact that he was homeless and he was having a mental health crisis, and not the fact that he was black, is very, very interesting. I'm in rural Texas. I see these dudes daily. Wow. Rural Texas. Like what part? I mean, I'm obviously not in like the city parts, but like, are you anywhere like close to the border, the Mexico border, or like the what's around Oklahoma? Is Arkansas, Louisiana? Girl, what you gotta say? Just say it. I can't wait till she learns some words. I can't wait till she learns some words. It's like she's always trying to talk. She's always trying to talk. Mm, my little muffin. But yeah, but back to oh no, Central Texas near close to Waco. Ooh, Waco. Well, I remember some years back when there were guns drawn on a guy that had mental health issues, and his advocate had to come out and try to de-escalate the situation. Are you talking about what happened in Florida? He was like in the middle of the street. I just felt I feel like this society creates people that have multiple mental health issues. They create the society creates poverty, and then when these people who are victims have to react to it, they they're met with deadly force. And I don't think I ever like really paid any attention to it. Um, Pre like 2013, like pre I'll say pre Trayvon Martin. Like I didn't really pay attention to like how these types of things happen, but they happen very often. And I we we're gonna I feel like we're gonna see a lot more of it, because you already see, before all of this even happened, Eric Adams pretty much decided that it was a great idea to criminalize being homeless. And I'm going back to that, I wonder if it has anything to do with the fact that they needed to get people out of the shelters so they could put migrants into the shelters. Because if you arrest homeless people and put them in jail, you have openings in the shelters. Now you can put the migrants in the shelters, but the migrants don't even want to be in the shelters. They wanted to be in those hotels. They wanted to be, at the Row in Hell's Kitchen. They didn't want to be in the shelters. I don't know whose video I was watching. It might have been, I don't know. It might have been Blacklight Revelations, or it might have been Raw TD. I don't know, but one of them was showing like a news segment from New York, and it was like this I guess Latina woman who was like the newscaster or whatever, the reporter. She was talking about how the migrants are getting frustrated because they're ready to work, and they haven't been able to been put in a position where they're able to like make money for themselves. And the segment was pretty much like a plea to get them jobs. And it really exposed to me how these people are coming to an already like um in a city that's already like their resources are already being strangled, and now they're putting like more people into it, and the citizens have to compete with these other people for jobs. Like I said, like I lived in New York for a month, and it's hard. It's a very hard life, and like most New Yorkers, they have 2 or 3 jobs just to survive, and now they have these migrants coming in who can easily undercut them because they're not citizens, and they're going to be, taking even more of the resources that they don't have. Downtown Indy has a large homeless population, and the police show no remorse. The last time I went to Indianapolis, it was a few years ago, but the streets were like squeaky clean. I didn't see no homeless people. I was shocked. I don't know if I was like in like an affluent area or not, but I probably was. Um, but the streets were, the only thing I remember is like the streets were so clean, and I didn't see no homeless people. But I'm sure, of course, that has changed a lot. I mean, every large city in the country has a huge homeless population, and I don't think it's getting any better. I mean, Atlanta is bad. Like all the homeless people you see is black men. You only see black men on the streets. And a few years ago, I'll say about like 10 years ago, I worked with this nonprofit called Hashtag Lunch Bag, and we used to make like bag lunches once a month for like, homeless people. And we would go to the same spots where we knew all the homeless people were. And it was outside of one shelter that was near the area where like the Fox Theater is. And we go down there with our sandwiches, and then we see people passing out soup, ramen noodles, cake. Like, I mean, if you were homeless in Atlanta, you knew that you could go out there on any given day and there'll be somebody out there like passing out food. And for me, I kind of got tired of doing it because I'm like, we're coming out here, we're seeing the same people every single time. All we're doing is passing out these bologna sandwiches. Why would they want that? We're giving them food that we wouldn't even eat, and it's not helping their situation. Like they're always the homeless people in Atlanta. I don't think that they have a problem with finding food. They don't have a problem with probably like making like $10 a day. They, like these aren't solutions to help them with the problem. All it's going to do is just give them incentives to stay on the streets. The only time I saw that was Super Bowl. I think we've been in the news a couple of times for it. This was a while ago, the last time that I actually was in Indianapolis. And I thought it was weird. I thought it was weird that there was nobody in the streets. But there that homeless shelter that I was talking about in Atlanta, it got closed. It was a men's shelter and it was a women's shelter. One day I was actually driving past it, and I saw them kick a woman out. It was That place was crazy, but it has closed down. And obviously, the other shelters have been like over capacity. I drive past them and I see people just standing outside just trying to get in, and like it's just not getting better. There's more homeless encampments. That whole Cop City thing, the one of the main reasons why it's a problem is because a lot of homeless people have been staying on that land. There was nothing but tents in homeless encampments on that land. But another thing, I actually, when I worked in banking, I worked at a bank that was not far from this homeless shelter that I'm talking about that closed. And we would get it was next to a homeless shelter and it was next to an old folks home. That was the only people that we would get. And most of the people that would come into the bank were homeless, and they had thousands of dollars in their accounts. They were getting disability, they were getting, whatever, and they had thousands of dollars in their accounts. And these people were still like sleeping on the streets. We had this one woman. She was nice, but you could tell she had mental health problems. And even one of my coworkers found her old Facebook page. I guess before she, I don't want to say went crazy because I feel like that's not sympathetic. But yeah, this woman had like $6,000 in her account at any given time. And she was nice. She would come into the bank and she would, we knew that something was off with her, but she would conduct herself, you know, in a respectful manner. And then one day, I didn't work that day, but one day she came into the bank and she was having a crisis. And she came in, she was yelling at everybody, she was cussing at everybody. And my manager at the time was one of those people like, he looked and he acted like Kevin Hart, but he was one of those people that kind of like, he was like a my way or the highway type person. So he got mad at her because she came in the bank acting crazy. And like, I mean, I don't feel like she had any like ill intent. She just had, she was having like an episode. And he closed her account. He closed her account, gave her like all the money that was in her account was like $6,000 in cash, and told her she could never come back. That is, even to this day, I'm like, I can't believe that he would do that to her. And I mean, I don't know what happened to her. I mean, it's so dangerous to be walking around with that much money on the streets, you know. Have I seen Skid Row? Skid Row is awful. And every city in America is going to have Skid Row, and it's going to be just as bad. Yeah, he closed her account. He closed her account, told her never to come back. And I wasn't there. If I was there, I would have been like, no, we're not doing that. We just tell her to leave. You know what I mean? We'll just tell her to leave. And she would have left. Even if she was forced out, she would have left. And that, I felt like that was inhumane. Kicked her out. I mean, and like, she's obviously getting like disability or some type of funds to her account. You close her account, and now she can't have access to that money that's coming into her account. She obviously doesn't have the wherewithal to be able to like go back to whatever Social Security office or wherever to it's just, that was so terrible. I'll never forget that. And I mean, she could be dead to this day. I mean, today, I don't know. But when that happened, one of my coworkers went into her, went to her Facebook and tried to like reach out to like her family members and was like, you have to get her, come and get her. You have to help her. Just so sad. My I'll be transparent with you all, but I had an uncle who was schizophrenic, and he was my favorite uncle. He was so smart. Like, me and him, we would sit up, we would talk for hours, and I was like 7, 8 years old, but he talked to me like I was an actual human and not a child. So we'd have conversations, but like, he was, at the time, he was probably like 20, or he was the youngest in the family, and he ended up getting into a bad car accident. And ever since then, like, he was just off. And he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. He was in and out of like mental health facilities, and at one point he shot my grandfather. And so after that, he was placed in a facility for, I think, about 10 years. And he had substance abuse issues, and um, he got out of the facility. My grandfather bought the house next to his house and renovated it for him, and he lived in the house and until he died. Very, very sad. Very sad. But he was a wonderful person. You know, he just had his problems. You know what I mean? And they he wasn't able to overcome them. I do a lot of homeless, disability, mental health advocacy, and the horror stories are mind numbing. I even stayed in the homeless shelter a few weeks to better understand, and it's wild. Oh, wow. How was it in the staying in the shelter? Like, I can only imagine how it was, but like, what are some of the things that you've seen? I can't imagine being like a woman with two kids living in a homeless shelter. You know that it's a lot that people have to go through, and it seems like there's like no real sympathy for them. Because what I noticed, even when I was working with hashtag lunch bag, like I noticed that there were people that wanted to be on the streets. They had substance abuse issues. They had mental health issues. They wanted to be on the streets. There was no way that somebody would be like, okay, we'll put you in a apartment and we'll help you get a job. And that would turn their life around. But there were people that were homeless and working, and they just could not make enough money to get a place and, live on their own. They shove that population to the side, and what makes it worse is that their caretakers get money from it, but they aren't doing right by them. No, it's not safe at all, especially for women, which is why most would rather be on the streets. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I saw a lot of women with children on the streets, and I could tell that like some of them lived in shelters, but during the day, like they don't let them. I don't think they let people stay in the shelters during the day. And those women, they would be out in the streets, panhandling. And but when I worked with hashtag lunch bag, I just felt like we're not doing anything. We're not helping anyone. And it really um, it made me feel helpless because as much as I wanted to do more, I knew that I couldn't, and I didn't have the capacity to do the things that I knew needed to be done. You know what I mean? Um, I don't think that homeless people should be in the city, and it's not because it makes the city look bad or anything like that. But I think that homeless people should be bused to facilities that are out in the country, and they should have to relearn how to be a I don't want to say a normal person, but how to be them again. No, you can't stay during the day, only to sleep and shower in the morning unless it's freezing or there's a heat advisory. Yeah, because that's what I mean. We would she is heavy. She fell asleep. She's heavy. Hurt my back. I'm gonna have to stand up. Oh. Okay, that's a little bit better. I hate having to look down though. I don't have anything to put my laptop on. I can put up my record player. Put it on top of this record player. See if that's a bit better. Yeah, it's a bit better. But yeah. So um, I think that instead of trying to like bust them out of the city, they should be busting them to facilities that are out in the country where they learn like trades, or they learn how to farm, they learn how to, do things, and it helps reprogram their brains. What's up, team? What's up? Hmm? Okay. Bye. 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 Swear he is crazy. Um, is there anything else I want to talk about? Um, I guess this is a Jordan Neely stream, but I really just don't want people to like brush his murder under the rug like we do every single one. It's like we're becoming desensitized to it. It keeps happening. It happens so often that it's like, oh, it's just another one. It's just another one, you know? And this, for me, this is different because we already know that the race soldiers in the police departments, we already know what their function is in society. You know what I mean? They were created to terrorize black people and enslave and things like that. But once we start normalizing white vigilantism, there's like no way that we can come back from it. And I mean, obviously, like some aspects of it has already been normalized. But once we start seeing this happen and these people walk, and it's like we constantly seeing this on TV, we're not gonna be able to come back from it. Like Ahmaud Arbery, like his killers almost got away, but they're all in prison now. That was, that was the state of Georgia, um, making an example out of them. And, that is not okay. But if we're starting to see it happen in other places and these people aren't charged and they're not held responsible for the crime, other people are going to feel emboldened to do it as well. And I've seen, like, even on my Twitter, I've seen people behind fake pages. We have to be aware of people, white people behind black avatars, trying to tell us, trying to gaslight us into believing what we're seeing isn't real. And we have to be aware of that because we're going to see a lot of that, especially with the coming election. And they're going to keep trying to make us believe that what we're seeing isn't real and that we're wrong and we should change our minds and we shouldn't think the way that we do. We're going to start seeing this a lot. We have to become very, very vigilant and stay on top of it because we're already seeing it. It's just sad and BS that the crimes have to be caught on camera for us for them to believe it. And even then, the suspects are found not guilty. I mean, in this case, they're not even being charged. They just got to go home after murdering someone. I hope the killers get what's due. I have a feeling that the dude with the decorated military veteran that he'll walk like the young boy with the what young boy with the gun? What happened? What you talking about? Hmm. All of this obviously it worries me the most because I have two young children and I'm raising a black boy, Dylan. Dylan Roof. Dylan isn't Dylan Roof the one with the who killed all those people in the church? Like I said earlier, we all have to start training. Yesterday I said that we need to start being self-sufficient, but today I'm saying everybody needs to train. I tell all the women that I know, like, they're all afraid of guns. My mom, she was in the military, and she knows I carry my gun everywhere I go. And she told me recently that she's thinking about getting a gun, and I'm like, you need to go get one, train. And even here, there the gun range that me and my husband go to every Tuesday is Ladies' Day, so you can go and shoot for free for as long as you want to. Like there's no excuses. Like we built an outdoor range at my cousin's house, Kyle Rittenhouse. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the thing about Kyle Rittenhouse, like he went there. He went there because he wanted to shoot a black person. He wanted to shoot a black person. He didn't get a chance to, and that's what made his story so interesting because he ended up shooting white people, but shooting them was like shooting a black person because they were there for a BLM protest. So, the white supremacists, they think that if you're there on behalf of, supporting black people, that you're just like them anyway. And I mean, they're muddying the waters with self-defense to the point where nothing's going to be self-defense anymore, and we're not going to be able to defend ourselves at all. I can't remember his name, but there's that black father on here, and he teaches his children how to shoot. Yep. I think his daughters are called the Survival Sisters. I think they're based in Georgia too. Yeah. Yeah, my little cousin, she's 10. I think she's 10. She's 9 or 10. She asked her dad to shoot, and I said he need to get her a gun. Get her like a little rifle so she can start practicing on a rifle. He said he's teaching her on his handgun, but I'm like, don't do that. Get her on, a rifle. Get her on a rifle. And we have to raise our children up to be warriors because we're already the warrior class, and we're getting away from the things that make us so strong because society is turning us all into pussies. My children ain't gonna be no pussies. They're gonna know how to fight. They're gonna know how to shoot. They're gonna know how to take care of themselves. It's gonna be hard because they both goofy. That's one thing I love about Texas. Everyone has guns here, and I was talking to my husband because we go back and forth to North Carolina. He's from Charlotte, and I was asking him, I was like, are you gonna try to carry your gun there because you have to have a permit and blah blah blah. And I was like doing my little research, and I saw that open carry is legal, no problem. And I thought it was interesting. I had asked the question on this was back when I was banned on Twitter. So I asked the question on Reddit. I asked, why is, open carry legal in so many states, but concealed carry, you have to have a permit, or, some states like Georgia have permitless carry. And they were saying that, like, back in the day, like, everybody open carried. And it was like, you open carry because you want people to know what you got on. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to mess with me because you know I have a gun on me. And now it's like everybody wants to be discreet about it because people are afraid of guns. Now, when you see a gun, like, you're scared. You know what I mean? Well, some people are scared. But I feel like if you knew that everybody in the room has their own weapon, you would be less inclined to try to harm any of them, steal from any of them. You know what I mean? Like, but I think um, the self-defense waters, like I said, are being muddied. So it's going to get to a point where it's like either everybody can defend themselves or nobody can defend themselves. And it's going to be very important for us to be able to defend ourselves because even if let's say like somebody tried to break into my house, I'm going to call this is even better example. So one night, Asim was a baby. He was probably like 6 months. He was sleeping in his crib. And Amir was asleep in the bed. I was up watching TV. I hear a loud bang. And I'm like, oh my God, what is that? And then I hear another one. And I'm like, okay, let me get up and see. I look out the window and there's a car on fire in the abandoned lot near my house. I start freaking out because I'm like, oh my God, Asim's going to wake up. What if this fire spreads to my house? Like, I'm freaking out. I called the police. The police came within 5 minutes. They came really quickly. Um, I don't live far from a police station, so um, I didn't think it would be like a long wait or whatever. But they brought the fire department and everything. Asim slept through the whole thing, which was great. But they reacted quickly, but that was still 5 minutes. If somebody tried to break into my house, I'm the first responder. My husband's the first responder. We're going to have to react. We're going to have to defend ourselves before any, law enforcement is going to be able to even get here. And I don't think people understand that, because your life can be taken in a matter of seconds. You won't even have the opportunity to call the police if something like that, was to happen to you. So we shouldn't allow the ways in which we're able to defend ourselves legally to be taken away from us. We shouldn't give those things away. And I say this all the time: guns are not the problem; it's the person behind the gun. And some people um, don't take into account that guns are illegal in certain places, but they still have just as much crime. So if someone that wanted to murder someone else, if they're not able to shoot them, they're going to try to kill them in any other way that they can. Knives and stabbings are like a huge problem in England right now. So we just really have to focus on being prepared for anything, making sure you have a bug out bag. I have a bug out bag in the house and I have a bug out bag in the car, because we got to stay prepared. We don't know, anything could happen. Anything can happen. We have to know. We have to know, and we have to be prepared for that. Anybody got anything else to say? Because if not, we can end the broadcast. I know there's two people in here, probably still Jason and Yikes. I appreciate y'all coming and kicking it with me today. I want to go live again tomorrow, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go live at the same time, because I want to go see one of my friends who just had a baby. I want to go meet the baby and take the kids over there. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, we can have talks like this all the time. Like I said yesterday, we can get up here and kick it. We can do this every single day. The only problem I got is my biggest haters. They gonna be all up in my face trying to start whatever drama they can start with me. But I love getting up here and being able to have these discussions with y'all. We can have a free flowing discussion. We can talk. Um, I can invite people up here. We can do that. Like I said, I'm not really technically savvy. I don't know how to do all this extra stuff on the computer, but I'll figure it out. Thank you. Yikes. We can I can invite people up here. We can talk. I mean, all I need is one other person in the room. We can have a discussion. I'm not one of them people that's gonna be like, oh well, I need to have at least this many people, or y'all wasting my time. I'm not. We can definitely have these discussions as often as possible. Me too, because I mean, like, we can talk on Twitter, but it's not the same. Like, it's not the same. And I feel like we can speak a little bit more freely on here. I don't know. I might be naive, but I'm thinking this is like we can speak freely, because we might not have people like you know patrolling and trying to get the stream shut down, or you know I don't know. I feel like I might be naive. I don't care. I don't care. But I definitely think these are conversations that need to be had. And rest in peace, Jordan Neely. I feel like this is gonna be really affect me for a while, and I just really hope his family can get some justice. It's just really sad. Ugh. I saw a car outside my house. Amir should be home soon, so we can take these kids to the park. He started a new job, so he's like gone for like 12 hours a day, and I'm never like since Asim was like a year and a half. Like we've always just been here together, and it's like now that he's, off to work all the time, it's like they are in my face, like right here. Being a stay-at-home mom is like got to be one of the most stressful jobs on earth. But yeah, I'm just talking. Anyways, um, we can do this again tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll be able to get into my Twitter so I can have like we can talk about the other things that I wanted to talk about. Let me see if I can look at my bookmarks because, of course, I really wanted to talk about Jordan Neely, but I there was something else I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, okay. Did y'all see this? You see, New York man arrested in connection of parking garage collapse after giving homeless people pickaxes and telling them there was a lost crack stash. This wasn't accompanied by a news article. This was just a picture. But if that's true, that's crazy. That is crazy. Like really? I mean, the infrastructure in New York is terrible anyway. Like, I don't know how it's so expensive to live there because I honestly, I would be afraid. I would be afraid to cross some bridges every single day. I'd be afraid to walk those streets every day, live in some of those buildings. Like, the whole place. I love New York. New York is one of my favorite cities, but I feel like I feel like it's crumbling. And any day now, like all of it would just fall down. I don't trust none of it. I don't trust none of it. I wouldn't buy no $5 million condo in one of them buildings. It just that is crazy. He gave crackheads pickaxes and told them that it was a lost crack stash. I don't know. Ooh, I wanted to talk about Kai Cenat too. Do y'all know who Kai Cenat is? Kai Cenat, he was like the number one person on Twitch. He's actually he's black, but he's Trinidadian and Haitian, and I think he's from like New York or whatever. But he was like one of the highest streaming Twitchers or whatever. I don't do Twitch because I feel like I'm too old for that. Florida men are now moving through New York. Um, I don't know what you mean by that. But but yeah, Kai Cenat, he was upset because Rolling Stone um, said something weird about him in their most influential list series that they did, and he was confused as to why they were like trying to like throw salt on his name. I like seeing, hearing about New York, but never want to live there. Oh, that time that I tried to live in New York was like one of the worst times of my life because it felt like New York has like a yeah, the Twitch streamer. New York has like an energy that like if you like get swept up into the energy with like a goal, you can really accomplish anything that you want to. Like when I was there, I felt like I was meeting like so many people and I was doing so many things, but I didn't have no money. And I moved there in December. Oh my God, this story is crazy. Like my New York that 1 month in New York, that could be a whole movie. Like the things that was happening was crazy. But yeah, I love New York. I couldn't see myself living there because I really feel like the infrastructure is due to crumble like any day now. I was with Kai until he started bringing white girls on his platform and telling them to say nigga. Yeah. Um, I'm not a Twitch person, so I didn't know who he was until that girl claimed that she was raped at one of his parties. And people were holding him responsible for it because one of his friends allegedly raped her, and he was trying to defend his friend, and people were like upset about it. But that was the first time I'd ever heard of him. But like um, we're in this new technological age where like there's so many different platforms, so many people are becoming popular on these platforms, and like, you know, there's 7 billion people in the world. There's no way that we'll be able to know who everybody is. But yeah, Kai, he's not Black American, obviously, so he probably doesn't really understand like the nuances and the microaggressions that we really have to live with every single day, and we've been living with for centuries, pretty much. So when he saw, let me see, they said something like, um, he was famous for it, but like on, I guess on one of his Twitch streams, he was accused of like getting like a hand job or something like that on screen, and it didn't happen. And so he was like really offended by that because it's like it making him look bad, making him look like he's like a hypersexual brute. And he doesn't understand that like as long as you're a Black man and you're on a public platform and you're being, you know, seen by millions and people support you, the white supremacist media class, they're going to drag you every single time they get a chance because they don't want you in that spot. It's so crazy. But yeah, Twitch racist, YouTube racist, all of these platforms are racist. They're not going to be they're not going to tweak the algorithm in order for you to get more viewers. Like you got those viewers organically, and they don't like that. They don't want you there. Oh wow. This is another thing. 10-year-old children found working at a Louisville McDonald's. If you ever been to Louisville or you ever been to Kentucky, period, you know that that's not very surprising. But yeah, 2 10-year-old children were found working at a Louisville McDonald's, sometimes until 2 a.m., trying to normalize child labor. Mm. I also wanted to talk about this. See, I'm not on TikTok either because I feel like I'm too old for TikTok. And I tried because I have a girlfriend who really likes TikTok. My mom, who will be 60 in a couple months, she likes TikTok. I don't like it. I feel like it shortens your attention span. Yeah, Louisville is ratchet. I lived in Lexington. Louisville is ratchet. I'm not really surprised by any of that. But yeah, I don't. Twitch literally had someone streaming him while he was on a shooting spree. Isn't that the guy, the white guy who shot up Tops in Buffalo and killed 10 Black people? Wasn't he on Twitch? Because I saw that Kai Cenat got banned a little while ago, and I felt like that was their way of trying to like humble him and try to make him like, you know, bend to whatever agenda they really want him to push. Like we're gonna take away your livelihood because you made us mad. But he's back on it, so. But yeah, Kai Cenat, he doesn't. I mean, he's not Black American, so he's definitely not from the soil. But he also doesn't really strike me as somebody who would like understand white supremacy and how he's playing a part in it. Because the fact that he was outraged by what Rolling Stone had said about him, like that's par for the course. You should have known they would say something like that about you. They're not gonna uplift you and not try to bring you down at the same time. That's what they're supposed to do. The whole point of them putting you on that most influential list is because you're influential on your own. You didn't get there because of them. That's why they have to tear you down. But yeah, I guess those are the only things I want to talk about. Something y'all not gonna find this funny. But do y'all know who Terry Joe is on TikTok? Y'all not gonna find this funny at all. But I found, I don't know, I'm not gonna say I discovered because I mean I'm not Christopher Columbus, but I found this, I guess, character on TikTok, and I thought it was funny. Um,
Your wig look like it's about to run away. You give me your rod. Oh, you need to just tilt that bit like this. Just tilt that motherfucker. Just like that. Back up. Back up. Back up right now. Back up. That's crazy. You in a whole background, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you doing, Cat Daddy?
I know y'all didn't find that funny, but that I be feeling conflicted because this character Terry Joe is clearly a man, a black man, and he's playing. Yes, I've seen Terry the video when she said her mother was dead, and the dude she was talking to told her she should go lie with her mother. I feel bad for finding Terry Joe. This is why I'm conflicted, and I mean all of us are hypocrites, but it's a man, a black man, playing Terry Joe, and Terry Joe is a character who's supposed to be a Caucasian woman who's racist. So I feel like the jokes that he is making, they're funny to black folks. It's kind of like, when we do like inside jokes that other people shouldn't really be privy to, and it's funny to us, but when other groups of people are laughing at it, it's racist. That's how I feel about Terry Joe. Because first of all, I usually don't find men who dress in drag for laughs. I usually don't think that's funny. But the Terry Joe character having like different nuances, I think it's funny, kind of. And then I don't know, it's just like some of the jokes be funny, but the fact that Terry Joe is on TikTok and has millions of different fans from different groups, it's kind of like the whole Dave Chappelle thing. Like Dave Chappelle, he ended his show because he was doing these like funny black inside jokes on a national scale, and now that other people are laughing at it, it's racist. You know what I mean? Like it's funny when we laugh at it, it's funny when we say it, you know what I mean? But it's not funny when other people do it at all. It's not. Because then we got to look at ourselves like why do we think it's funny? It's not funny. It shouldn't be funny to us either, you know? But yeah, that's all I had to say today. I'm gonna get off of here, and we can reconvene tomorrow. But I had fun with y'all. I had fun with y'all. I don't know what time I'm gonna go live tomorrow though. The millions of fans is what I don't understand. I do not get it. I don't get it. I don't get it for DJ Academics. I don't get it for it. But you always see it with these black people, these black presenting people. DJ Academics, he's Jamaican, but he's also kind of anti-black. But even like Terry Joe, or the Side Iconic dude, the guy who plays Terry Joe, like there's a lot of anti-blackness within his content, and it's attracting these other groups of people who also, have these beliefs. But I think the Side Iconic dude is also gay, and that's another layer because there's so many black LGBT people that harbor anti-blackness, and it's a lot of it is from them feeling like they weren't accepted when they were younger by their family and things like that. So now as adults they have this anti-blackness and they feel like they're more accepted by the other LGBT people. That's like that whole black scent that white gay men do. Hate it. Hate it. Hate it. And have you noticed that even all the white girls, that are like influencers, they all talk like this, and they have the same black scent, and they do all these things, and I hate it. Hate it all. It's that buck breaking ritual. Yeah, but they also, I don't think they understand they're being buck broken. The black people that make parodies of black people get them algorithm boosts, especially the LGBTs. Yes. And I don't think it's noble to ride the algorithm. You know what I mean? But these people, they're riding the algorithm because they don't have like any real talents. They don't have anything that's going to actually bring people to them, and they want that attention. Like me, it could be us, and we could be in here talking, and we could be shooting it all day. I don't really want to be talking to people that don't share my ideology. I don't want to talk to people who we don't share the same views. You know what I mean? Like they don't care who they get around, as long as they're getting those views and they're getting whatever dollars they're getting. Because I mean, I don't understand. I don't know how people get paid from Twitch and TikTok and things like that. I don't really understand that, but it's obvious that that's their goal. But that can't be my goal with, with the expense of my people. You know what I mean? Like I don't know any black women that talk like that. I don't either. And I'm from Atlanta. Like we have an Atlanta accent. Like it's noticeable. Like I feel like my accent is less Atlanta because neither of my parents are from Atlanta. And so I didn't grow up in a household with people that spoke that certain way. I would only hear it when I would go out, you know, to school or other things like that. But the older I get, the more I can hear my accent is Atlanta. You know what I mean? But these white girls, they be having like this non-regional ghetto black accent that they got from, I don't know, social media, or they get from listening to rap music. I'm not sure where it comes from, but it's weird. It's weird. And they all wear these long nails and they talk with their hands and
Mom.
yes. I'll cut this tag out for you, okay? I'll cut it out for you. All right, y'all. We can reconvene tomorrow. We can start back up where we left off. But it's been real. I really enjoyed you all today. And I'll get back with y'all tomorrow. I'll post the time. I'm sorry. Okay, hold on. All right, y'all.